Let's check in on the leader of the free world, President Joe Biden, who seemed rather confused. What are you doing there, Joe? Okay, now he doesn't know where he is. You're at the APEC Summit, Joe, in San Francisco. It's okay. He's looking as sharp as a tack. The poor guy, he doesn't know what's happening. That is your Commander-in-Chief, folks. That's what we call him. Here we're in safe hands right there. Yes, that's real footage of the president again appearing to be thoroughly confused as he took the stage with other leaders at APEC. That came after he botched the name of the venue and refused to mention a US corporation for fear of mispronouncing it. Footage of Joe looking dazed and confused is becoming all too common. Here he is a couple of months ago in Maui having a moment. Yeah, who knows what's going on in that brain of his. And when he does speak, when he goes off script, well, anything can happen. Here he is at APEC again answering a question, but this time he answers it honestly, for once, and that caused Secretary of State Antony Blinken to wince so hard he may have hurt himself.
Mr. President, after today, would you still refer to President Xi as a dictator? This is a term that you used earlier this year.
Well, look, he is. I mean, he's a dictator in the sense that he is the guy who runs a country that is a communist country that is based on a form of government totally different than ours.
No, Joe, stick to the diplomatic answer. They crafted for you in full anticipation of the dictator question being asked. Our own Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, he stuck to the script. He refused to label Chinese President Xi Jinping a dictator. No, Airbus Albo just noted that China has a very different political system. Well done there, champ. Now to the sorry state of the media, and in particular the biased reporting of the Israeli-Hamas conflict. It's not just the leftist media here in Australia. As you just heard, the BBC's erroneous reporting on the conflict has inspired several retractions and another comedy skit.
39 days after Hamas freedom fighters peacefully attacked Israel, we have now an exclusive interview with its leader, Yahya Sinwar.
Yes, good evening, Rachel. Let me just correct you. Oh. There were also freedom rapists and freedom butchers.
Of course, I apologize. Mr. Sinwar, I understand that you are now working towards a ceasefire.
Yes, Rachel, you know me. Wherever there is fire, I say, let's seize it. All we are saying is give ceasefire a chance.
The fire must be seized.
This is the latest work of comics from political satire show Eretz Nerdat, and they did not miss.
Can you imagine all we want is a little time to rearm before we continue to kill them, and they won't let us.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sinwar, I can't hear you. All this noise in the background.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rachel. There is a baby here.
Could you please get him to be quiet?
Yeah, I wish I could. He's not mine, and his mother is in Israel. Never mind.
Okay, look, it's really hard to conduct an interview with this noisy kidnapped baby. Is he always like that?
Oh, at night, it's even worse, Rachel. Every time we fire a rocket, he wakes up.
Oh, no.
I didn't have one good night sleep in a month.
Wait, are you telling me that there is an Israeli baby that's torturing you by sleep deprivation?
Yes.
Occupying your house?
Yes.
So unfair, so unfair.
Brilliant. But if you think we can't produce hard-hitting, darkly hilarious political satire like that, then think again. We have the Tens, The Project, and they gave us this champagne comedy just this week featuring Francesca Albanese.
In your view, what would the correct response have looked like?
the response was to be given in terms of law enforcement, because Gaza is occupied and it's under belligerent occupation. So Israel has powers to enforce the law and to pursue all security measures that are deemed necessary, considering that this is occupied territory. It could have relied on the United Nations to demilitarize Hamas if this was the target.
Oh, it's good.
Great work, Waleed. Great work. I didn't know he was a comedy genius. Fantastic.
Superb work there, team. Just superb. Sadly, Francesca Albanese is not a comedian. She is, in fact, a UN mouthpiece, gentlemen. Oh dear. Okay. Tell me, Francesca, if Gaza is occupied, then why are the Israelis invading it now during a war? Shouldn't they already be there? Are you really suggesting the Israelis should have had a law enforcement response? You do realise that Hamas has ruled Gaza since 2007. So you wanted the Israelis to have, what, politely asked Hamas to arrest Hamas? And then perhaps Hamas could put Hamas on trial? You even said there Israel should have depended on the UN to demilitarise Hamas. How exactly would that work, Francesca? You really think the US, Canada, Australia wants to have troops on the ground in Gaza rounding up mass murdering jihadis? Or are we going to rely on these UN peacekeepers to demilitarise Hamas? Those same UN peacekeepers who watched the Tutsis being slaughtered in Rwanda, did nothing as Islamic State slaughtered and enslaved Yazidis. We haven't forgotten that. No, leave the comedy to the professionals, Francesca, please.